Hello and salutations, everybody. This is Tabletop Junkie bringing you a tabletop review this morning on a nice, it's just a nice morning. So, here we are for a tabletop review Castles and Crusades, the Castles Keeper's Guide, third printing. And I have viewed it, all 370 something pages. Let me see actually how many pages does this actually have. I mean, not including the cover, 367, 368 if you include the back one. Yeah, I went through the entire thing from cover to cover. So yeah, 360 something pages. And I gotta say, I'm very much impressed with this book. I get a lot of information out of it. Um, and it is just it's comparable. I did get to compare. I don't get to show the comparison, unfortunately, like I was able to do with the seventh printing and the eighth printing player's guide. So I did get to review the second printing personally through a friend, but I don't get to. I can't show it because I don't have it. So I did review the differences and the changes, which wasn't much. The layout is still pretty much the same. The three things to note is information from the beginning of the book of levels 13 to 24 was moved from the Castle Keeper's Guide, which was in the Castle Keeper's Guide second printing, and was moved to the Player's Guide 8th printing when they did the third printing of this one. So this book doesn't have levels 13 through 24, but it still has everything else. So that was one piece of information that was moved from the Castle Keeper's Guide to the Player's Guide. That was change number one. Change number two is they reformatted the whole book. They took their file and reformatted it perfectly, went through page by page, it looks like, with a fine pick tooth comb, because there's a lot of changes and a lot of illustrations that were added. This one is very much colorful comparative to the original Castle Keeper's Guide second printing. So the third printing is very much a very colorful book, and I very much do get a lot out of it. I'm very, very happy with it. It's pretty much the same thing, except things were moved. Things were just moved from either one book to another, or So basically, if you got the eighth printing player's guide and the third printing Castles and Keepers guide, you have all the information that you would for seventh printing players and second printing castle keepers. So, but nothing was actually changed. You're not relearning anything new. It's just information was reformatted, reformatted or moved in some form, shape, or another. And then illustrations was added. Maybe some information was edited, but it's still pretty much the same word for word. So I will have to show off some of this cool art. I do have to say, I'm not going to show off the whole book, because this if anyone can get all the information off the whole book off of just doing a YouTube video, then the company Trollord Games wouldn't make any money, I don't feel. But that's just my personal opinion, so I won't show anything. I won't show off too much, but I do got to show off this awesome art that you get when you invest in these kinds of things. So let me pull up my screen share real quick. There we go. You get this. This is the original. I think this is the original standard, or it's the alternate page. But you know what? You get. This is the other page that you can get with the book too. So I guess I get both in the same one, both covers. This is just the PDF, which I did purchase from Trollord Games itself. I paid over $200. The $200 did cover the PDFs and the physical copies, so I do have my physical copy. We did have that in a video as well. But this is just some awesome art here. They did do a lot of illustrations, a little bit better than the second printing of the Castles Keeper's Guide. And I even examined the table of contents. All of this is the same. So this page was not altered any way, shape, or form. Once again, more illustrations and just the standard stuff. I think page 80 did go through a bit of an alter. Is it page 80? Let me check. Page 80 I think did go through some form of an alteration, just a bit. I'm trying to think. I think it was this section here. This is like chapter 14, non-player characters. This got filled out a little bit more. I mean, the information is still the same. They just definitely filled it out a bit more. Made some changes. And this is for game masters and dungeon masters. We're pretty much the same thing. It's just whatever you want to use. They just gave you some ideas for some NPC classes for non-playable characters. That's it. So that is one. Everything else, like I said, has either just been moved or altered in some way. It's all pretty much the same. Um, the biggest thing has to be, in when you had the 7th printing players and the 2nd printing Castle Keeper's Guide. If you wanted to look for anything beyond level 12, you had to go to the Castle Keeper's Guide. Well, in the 8th printing players and the 3rd printing Castle Keepers, all that information from beyond level 13, level 12, 13 to 24 is now in the player's guide. So that is for players to see, and that too was reformatted. I think we've shown some of that. So, it's just beautiful. I do recommend this book. It was well worth the buy. Troll Lords Games I'm a forever fan. I'm going to be basically promoting this left and right on all my channels. The review is, so my review for today is a definitely a must buy. There is virtually no changes. I mean, even if you're a player and you only have the 7th and the 2nd printing, and you don't want to buy the 8th and the 3rd printing of the players in the Castle Keeper's Guide, that's totally up to you. I think you could float with the 2nd and 3rd. That's what I love about Castles and Crusades the most, is generally speaking, you can use the other printings if you have them. Nothing has really been changed. It's just they just keep getting better and better with the illustrations or whatever. I mean, with the formatting and stuff like that. I don't know how the first printings would fare, but I can tell you from the previous printings that we just came from, which I believe was 7th, which I do know for a fact was 7th players, 2nd Castle Keepers, and I believe 4th monsters. 3rd or 4th monsters. Now we are in 8th players, 3rd Castle Keepers, and 5th monsters and treasures. So that will be my next review, will be the Monsters and Treasures guide going on that. I did not get to review the 4th printing of the Monsters and Treasures, but I did, thank you to a friend, did get to review the 3rd printing of the Monsters and Treasures guide. So there will be a comparison between the 3rd and the 5th. So like I said, these books are just wonderful. It's not like relearning a brand new system or anything like that. It's not, it's not like where you go to Dungeons and Dragons 3.5 and got to learn the difference between 3.5e and 5th edition, or learning the difference between 4th edition and 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. It's literally not like that. It's all very well still the same from my point of view, because I did get to review I just got to review the previous versions. The only one I got to review 2 versions ago was the Monsters and Treasures guide. So I'm not sure what was really the difference yet, but we will definitely see that in my next video. Anyway, that is all I have to speak of today. Troll Lord Games, you're awesome. Your product is awesome. We will be getting ready to do an actual play in the near future with Castles and Crusades. I hope it's very much adventurous, and we are going to have lots and lots of fun. So that is all I have for the review. Castles Keeper's Guide 3rd printing. For those who love OSR and love Castles and Crusades, I do say the starter bundle, which I will have in the description of my video. You can get the starter bundle on there for a price, and for those who just don't want to invest money right now, I believe the 7th printing Castles and Crusades Player's Guide is still available. Some information is not in there that is in the 8th Player's Guide, but the information that's not in there, that's missing, that I've been speaking about, that I've been beaten over the head with, is in the 2nd printing Castles Keeper's Guide. So it doesn't really matter. You don't need that. That is something between you and the GM. The GM should be, this is a very easy system to deal with. I'm just widely impressed. There's not much difference. You're not relearning. When you go from printing to printing, you're not relearning anything. You're just going through and go, oh, that's it. It's still the same. Be done with it. Like I said, information has not been taken out or added. It's just been moved and reformatted, changed, and re-illustrated. They basically just made it look more flashier. So, definitely Castles Keepers Guide, Castles and Crusades, 3rd printing is a must-buy. That is my review for today. like I said, we did see some good art. I'm not going to go through everything. It does have everything that a game master would need. So this review is kind of short, but like I said, it's very let me see if I can show some things here, because it is very short. We're only at 10 minutes. My other reviews are like around 15, so let me take 5 minutes. Let me take 5 minutes here and see. You see, here's, we even got stuff for retaining on hirelings loyalty, what you got to pay them per month. I mean, it's just basic information for a game master. You're not really missing much. One of the things I do like is the epic or the godlike stats. That is still in here. That was also in the second printing, Castles Keeper's Guide, with the levels 13 to 24, but now in the third printing, that's been removed, so this chapter's been kind of slimmed down a little bit. Let me see if I can find it. Right here, they have the godlike stats. If you have stats beyond 20, most stats on first level can't go beyond 18. So basically, if you have a 20 score on strength, you get nothing. But if you have a 20 score on dexterity, you get a +1 additional initiative. So if your initiative is like a +4, I believe if your initiative, like if your dexterity is a +4, your initiative is a +4. But because you have initiative 20, you get a +1 added to that +4. So it's actually a +5. If you have a 21, you get a +10 feet on your normal move. So that means you're a little bit quicker. Still a +4 bonus though. And then I don't know if you still get this versus this. I don't know if the stats change out. We've never really really went into this. What I do like though is on a 21, you get to use two-handed weapons with one hand. So imagine a great sword that is a two-handed weapon. You get to wield two great swords with one hand. That's just, you can't do that. So these are kind of like rules breaking just a little bit, or not really rule breaking, but more like rule bending. And I think you do get that. So yeah, so you get 10 feet plus the initiative, so you get a +5 initiative. And then if you got a 21 to Constitution, get immune to disease. That's just any disease. That is, I like this. And wizards and illusionists receive an extra 4th level spell at 21. So I like this. Castles and Crusades is very awesome. Very awesome. They even have a beauty attribute. Beauty attribute to me would be more or less. I'm not even sure how this works. I haven't really worked on that. To me, beauty attribute is kind of like how good you look with like charisma. So I don't know. I haven't really messed with that too much. So then you got your beauty attribute scores. So I don't know. Like I said, I read these books from cover to cover quite often. Not every day, but close enough. So well, that is everything I have to share for today. Just to fill in some extra time, instead of listening to me rant about a perfect review, I will have to say, please buy Castles Crusades 3rd printing. It is very much enjoyable. There is a lot of information to use that you can put into your games. And next up will be another review, Monsters and Treasure. I hope everybody has enjoyed this review. I hope this has enticed you to buy Castles and Crusades. It is a worthwhile game. I've ran a couple games with it myself, and I have not been disappointed one time yet. So, well, that is all that I have for today. Everyone, this is Tabletop Junkie telling everyone to work hard, play hard, game on, everybody. Tabletop Junkie, famous salute. Have a great and wonderful day.